Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with episode 25 of the Snowflakes Viewpoint. I just can't remember the numbers, guys. I am just useless when it comes to trying to remember it. 25 episodes in, guys. 25 episodes in. Yes, I did notice that, sadly, there is no swear jar on Labour Social. I know some of you guys were eager to see the swear jar with Super Tansky, but they're not doing it tonight, unfortunately. But I hope you guys had a good weekend. I am cold, in case you're wondering why I have a jumper on. I got a hat on. It is cold here in the UK, and no, we are not putting on the heating for obvious reasons. Costs too much money. So but luckily you guys are going to warm me up with your comments in the section in the chat bar, because I know you guys are going to do that. And we've got I've actually got a really funny funny sort of story as well. I picked up from The Guardian, believe it or not, that we'll be looking at as well. Got roughly six articles here, but I've got a 7th bonus one depending on how time, because some of these articles are not that long, to be fair. Interesting enough, yeah, the one about the one I dropped at 3 o'clock, the one about the from the exclusive from the Independents. Literally, I had just finished that like 10 minutes beforehand, and I decided to move one of my other videos over to put that in that slot, because I thought that one was quite a big story really to drop, considering that our own IT systems, you know, where a taxation system could fall in the hands of Chinese and Russians. That was pretty frightening. Yeah, so if you haven't seen that video, definitely worth checking it out as well, guys. Just another thing I'll add as well before I say hello to the chat. I will timestamp the live stream either later on tonight after the show, or in the morning, just for those who just to make it easier for people to run it back. Yeah, because I managed to figure out how to do timestamps, so I hope the timestamps make things easier for you guys when it comes to watching my videos. So who have we got in the chat today? We've got Duke Vengeance, who has still got a headache. He had a headache yesterday, which is why he didn't join us for music night. Some of you guys may have missed us. We had music night on Discord. We played 48 tracks, I think it was. Ben Shaw, good evening, Ben. I hope you're doing well. I think it was 47, 48 or so. I think that's what I put in the general chat. Anyway, good evening, Jao. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Colin from New York is here. Good to see you, Colin. Hope you're doing well. Virtual group hugs for warm, says Ben Shaw. Ben says Ben Shaw. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Emoji hug, guys. I think I'll lose a cough. I've got no biscuits. I've only got water to go with me today, guys. But obviously, the story. Obviously, there's still as I said on my world news round, guys. I'm not going to be covering the Israel-Hamas conflicts, but there is one other story that but we are going to be looking at outside the UK. We'll be looking at as well. Quite interesting. Hello, 91 Leeds. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you had a good weekend too. Let's dive straight into the first topic then, shall we? I'm trying not to sneeze. I'm worried I'm going to sneeze at any moment now, guys. Tory MP Peter Bone faces 6-week common suspension for bullying and sexual misconduct. A report by Parliament Independent Expert Panel found that Peter Bone exposed himself to a member of staff in a deliberate and conscious abuse of power, which he denies. Oh dear, guys. So I watched Phil from a Different Biases video on this. This really is not surprising anymore, to be fair, is it, guys? I mean, it's just when these guys just do not deserve the power they have. They are such abusers of their power. And if these allegations are true, I have to use the word allegations. I still have to use the word allegations when talking about Dan Wootton, believe it or not. But if these allegations are true, this man should not only should he not be anywhere near politics, he should be in jail. He should be in jail. He really should, if this is found to be true. Because this is absolutely abhorrent, disgusting, vile behaviour, if this is found to be true. Cathal, good to see you. Hope you had a nice weekend too. What is wrong with these British MPs? I know. I mean, so many MPs. There have been one or two Labour, and I think one or two. It's more obviously Conservative, but there have been other party MPs who have been erupting scandals, but nothing as bad as what the Conservatives have been. It's been absolutely out of order. Simon says 59. Good to see you there, buddy. Hope you had a good weekend too. Yeah, not this man. I mean, I believe it. I'm about to read into the article, but I believe it was a male as well, which is, male or female, but it's just absolutely vile, disgusting. Someone who because he's an MP, because of his position of power, he thinks he can just push anybody around and do whatever the hell he wants, allegedly. So a Conservative MP is facing a 6-week suspension from the House of Commons over allegations of bullying and sexual misconduct against a staff member. A report by Parliament's independent expert panel, the IEP, found that Peter Bone trapped a member of staff in a room where he exposed himself in what the panel says was a deliberate and conscious abuse of power. Mr Bone, the MP for Welling Borough, committed various acts of bullying and one act of sexual misconduct against a member of its staff in 2012 and 2013, the panel said. It recommended that he be suspended from the House of Commons for 6 weeks, paving the way for another potential by-election and headache for Rishi Sunak. So, yeah, we could potentially be facing another by-election coming up. It was interesting, again, referencing back to Phil's video, how many MPs, Conservative MPs, how fewer MPs they've had since 2019. I think they've lost like 12, 13 Conservative MPs over that period. Is quite incredible to say the least. Jal says the UK needs harder penalties on these behaviours. I think it is the only country in Europe where this kind of abuse is not penalised with a criminal case. Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. 100% agreement. Could not agree more with that statement. The Prime Minister is already facing calls to remove the whip from Mr Bone, which would force him to sit as an independent MP in the Commons. In a statement, Mr Bone, 70 years old, dismissed the IEP report as false and untrue. As I have maintained throughout these proceedings, none of the misconduct allegations against me ever took place, he said. These are false and untrue claims. They are without foundation. So he's obviously this is complete denial from Mr Bone. For Mr Bone on this one. Writing on social media, Mr Bone, who was appointed Deputy Leader of the House of Commons by Boris Johnson, said the Independent Complaints and Grievance Scheme, the ICGS, investigated into him was flawed, productively unfair, and didn't comply with its own rules and regulations. Okay, so he's claiming that the investigation and the conduct of the way the investigation was flawed and unfair, guys. That's what he's claiming. He's saying that it wasn't appropriate. 5 allegations by Westminster staffers were made in October 2021 after a complaint made to the then Prime Minister Theresa May in 2017 went unresolved, the IEP had said. The complaints included 4 allegations of bullying, detailed that Mr Bone verbally belittled, ridiculed, abused and humiliated his employees and repeatedly physically struck and threw things at him. Repeatedly physically struck and threw things at him. The report said Mr Bone also imposed an unwanted and humiliating ritual on him by forcing him to sit with his hands on his lap when he was unhappy with his work, and that he orchestrated his staff members following an incident on a work trip to Madrid. The complainant also alleged that Mr Bone repeatedly pressurised the member of staff to give him a massage in the office and on a visit to Madrid with the all-party parliamentary group on human trafficking, indecency, exposing himself to the complainant in the bathroom and bedroom of the hotel room they were sharing. In its findings, the IEP said, this is a serious case of misconduct. The bullying involved violence, shouting, swearing, mocking, belittling and humiliating behaviour and orchestrism. This willful pattern of bullying also includes an unwanted incident of sexual misconduct when the complainant was trapped in a room with the respondent in a hotel in Madrid. This was a deliberate and consensuous abuse of power, using a sexual mechanism, indecent exposure. This is pretty damning, to say the least. It's just absolutely. Maybe I should have put this one on Patreon so I could have sworn a lot more, but yeah, I will resent my anger. Following an investigation, the Parliamentary Standard Commissioner held all 4 allegations of bullying and the allegations of sexual misconduct relating to the incident in Spain. However, he found the demands for massages were bullying, not sexual misconduct. Mr Bone appeals against the decision, but this was dismissed. In response to the finding, Mr Bone said the complainant had not raised the issue during their employment and said that the ICGS rules meant that he could not detail my views on the huge inconsistencies and the lack of evidence in the allegations. Well, I'm pretty sure you would have thrown him under the bus if you made him say anything. Like, you're an MP with a great deal of sense of power. I mean, obviously these are all allegations, but considering he had not raised the issue, are you going to if this is a I just find it quite baffling that he's basically saying this never happened and he never made a complaint or anything at all. And it's just like, well, maybe it's because he was scared of you, of the power that you had over him. Maybe that might be the reason. It's just so... He claimed that the ICGS investigation was productively unfair and that he was discussing with lawyers what action could and should be taken. Mr Bone will now face a vote in the Commons on the 6-week suspension. If approved by MPs, the suspension could lead to him facing a recall petition. If 10% of the eligible and registered voters sign it, it would trigger a by-election in his Wellingborough seat, where he has a majority of 18,540. I don't know too much about the seat itself, but obviously it's another target that the Labour or the Lib Dems could really go for. Liberal Democrat Chief Whip Wendy Chamberlain urged Mr Sunak to remove the whip from Mr Bone so that he can no longer sit as a Conservative MP. He's too spineless to do that. Rishi Sunak needs to remove the whip from Peter Bone and call on him to resign, he says. There is no place anywhere in society for this kind of sexual harassment and bullying. Yeah, he's, as much as I want that to happen, he's not going to do that. He's too spineless to do that, guys. That's the problem. It's frustrating, to say the least. It is so infuriating when you have to, like, this kind of... The thing is that this is the point I just want to make, guys. Like, this is between MPs and civil servants. How much does this happen in the UK that we don't report? That's not reported. That's not talked about. You know, crime is really bad right now in the UK. There's a lot of unreported crimes. There's a lot of unreported sexual assaults and misconducts that are much more widespread happening in the UK than we know. I'm pretty sure if I really dug the numbers out, it would be pretty damning, to say the least. But only because he's an MP that this is highlighted. But if it's an ordinary person going through this, you won't see it in the mainstream media. It's pretty damning, to say the least. But yeah, Mr Bone obviously has some is under scrutiny, of course, but be interesting to see if we've got that and so many other allegations of other people. It's just crazy, guys, absolutely crazy. Let me scroll up and just see what you guys are saying in the chat. Yep, I've read that already. Don't say harder, Jal. To replying to Colin. You're alright, some of them seems to like it, like Pincher. Oh god, guys. Got to whip the servants to get anything done, says Simon says. Yeah. Jal says, give little man some power, and this is how they behave. Little. Yeah, he's at, you know, if you take power away from him, he will shiver very quickly. Colin Thompson says, Mr Bone's GB News programme starts next month. Are you joking or are you being serious there? Lefty Boa, good to see you. I hope you have a nice weekend. Jal says, forcing someone to massage you is technically a form of rape or sexual attack under so-called constitutional law. So Portugal, Spain, France, Germany, Italy, just to quote some. Ben Shaw says, no one's principles are just a long-term memory. Now they barely lasted a decade. Duke Vengeance says, I just feel sick listening to what he has done. Yeah. Bonjour, Schultz. Thanks for covering this earlier. I did see your video on this, buddy. Good. Hope you're doing well. G4S. Gluten tag, all shorts. Mr Bono left a nasty taste in the mouth. Yeah, he left a nasty taste in everyone's mouth, to be fair, guys. Oh, joking. Oh, well, wouldn't surprise me if it ended up being the case anyway, to be fair. Yeah, well, I'm sure, yeah, we'll all be talking about. I'm sure Max will probably cover it on the live stream tomorrow. There'll probably be more to it as well, guys. I've got a short. Well, it is a short one to be fair, but this one I found quite interesting and a concerning one to say the least. This one's from the BBC, guys. So Charities concerned over the lack of progress with the Renters Reform Bill. A group of 30 charities and non-profit organisations have urged the Prime Minister to pass a bill to ban the no-fault eviction. Oh, why have we not had this put through yet? I just don't understand. The Renters Reform Bill will remove the right of landlords in England to evict tenants for no reason with only 2 months' notice. Charities warn delays risking causing more avoidable hardships and suffering with a greater cost to the taxpayer. The government says the bill will resume progress in Parliament shortly. Right, well, it better be, because we're back in Parliament this week, so I'm hoping there'll be a debate of some sort. So we'll need to ask Daily Blase on that one, that's for sure, because he will have a lot of content to come over the next few weeks now that now that the conferences are kind of coming to an end. I know the SNP have their one going on at the moment, but yeah, hopefully he'll get through sooner. The Conservatives promised a better deal for renters, including a ban on no-fault evictions, in its manifesto ahead of the general election 4 years ago. They had a lot of things in their manifesto back in 2019, and they've scrapped a lot of them. So I wouldn't take anything they have in anything that the Conservatives say seriously at this point. There's no point taking anything that they say seriously, guys. We really can't. In May, the Renters Reform Bill was introduced to Parliament containing this measure, but it has not yet been brought back for the next parliamentary stage. There are concerns that the bill will not have time to pass through Parliament before the next general election, which is expected to take place next year. Under current housing legislation known as Section 21, landlords can evict tenants without giving a reason. After receiving a Section 21 notice, tenants have just 2 months before their landlord can apply for a court order to evict them. I had 2 months to get out of, when I was renting, I had 2 months to get out of our rent or accommodation that we were in, but the landlords were very, to be fair, I will give credit where credit is due, that they were, we were with them for five years straight, and this was quite a while ago now. We were with them for 5 years straight, and they only raised the rent once, so this was quite a fair while ago. But still, I really had to scramble to get it all sorted, and luckily I had family that was able to step in and support me in that process as well. But for some people, obviously, they don't have that, and it's a lot worse for them. So, but yeah, it's not really good. Shelter, the housing charity which was coordinated a letter from 30 organisations to Rishi Sunak, wrote that its research suggested a renter is evicted every 3 minutes in England under the no-fault rule. 3 minutes! Every 3 minutes! But a third of the 1,900 people it surveyed said that the last time they moved, it took them longer than 2 months to find somewhere else to live. The scramble. Like I was fortunate enough, at the time where I was very fortunate in those 2 months that literally there was a place up the road where we could move into. The thing that infuriated me most is that I was moving from what I considered a decent place into basically a box. The flat we were last in before me and my missus moved here. It was all right, but I just didn't like the fact that I was paying like an extra £200 for basically the same damn thing, similar to the same damn thing. But now prices are just skyrocketing, and there's just not enough accommodation. So you're told you got 2 months, and unless you've got family or whatever, you're kind of screwed, and it's just ridiculous. I just don't. It's disheartening. But a third of the 1,900 people said, yeah, the dire lack of security disproportionately impacts the people we represent, the shelter said. The letter points out that poor and insecure housing makes people physically sick and has a well-documented negative impact on their mental health. How many times have we talked about mental health, guys? How many times? It added it causes social isolation and financial hardship and traps people in cycles of poverty, struggle and uncertainty that are difficult, sometimes impossible to break. The letter says scrapping no-fault evictions should be at the heart of the government's plans, warning that renters cannot wait any longer. Together we are calling on the government to commit to processing the Renters Reform Bill this Parliament and to pass it into law as promised in the party's manifesto. Signatures including Child Poverty Action Group, Citizen Advice, Liberty, the Centre for Mental Health and Disability Rights UK. The Department for Levelling Up Housing and Community spokesperson said the government will deliver a fairer private renter sector for tenants and landlords through Renter Reform Bill, which it will have its second reading in Parliament shortly. The bill delivers our manifesto commitment, which will abolish Section 21 no-fault evictions, giving their tenants greater security in their homes. We are also determined to reduce the number of non-decent rented homes by 50% by 2030, as well as introducing the decent home standards to the private rented sector for the first time. And I said it like that, guys, because I don't take what they say seriously. But that's pretty damning, to say the least, guys. What are you guys saying in the chat? But the pandemic, says All Shorts. I'm not getting that reference. Sorry, buddy. Sorry for being that guy, but housing is the new mean to take away attention from things like the end of the banking service this year in December and Euro clearance next year, says Jal. Duke Vengeance says, in brackets, anger management set 0. Yeah, try not to get too upset, Duke. I know you got a banging headache, mate. Lefty Bow says, a friend of mine lost his house due to an NFE him. Mrs. and 3 kids are now in a B&B in a different town until his local council can offer him in anything. So they're living in a B&B. Is it actually cheaper in the B&B than actual rent? Like that's a good question. But my heart goes out to them, Lefty Bar. It really does. Jal says also it's possible the UK might get into trouble with the WTO because of not applying the checks of goods coming in from the EU. And there is a review of the UK debt value early January and the prospects are not good. Responding to Lefty Boat says, do they not have priority? Older people and family kids usually have. Yeah, the problem is the councils are facing impossible odds. Like, you can't really... The thing is that as much as you want to have a bash at the councils, they only have so many homes. And what they tend to try and do is, in these desperate situations, to try to ship them in other parts of the country, well away from where their local area is, in order to get them off the books, so that they can at least have a home of some sorts. But people don't want to move. You know, people don't want to make a big jump moving away from where they live. You know. Lefty Bow says, yeah, it's up to 6 months wait. Yeah, that's the other thing. 6 months wait. You have to be made homeless before the council will step in, says Saul Shorts. Yeah. Duke Fenton's, if you only see problems then you're perfectly sane. Only mad people believe to be completely insane, says Jow. Why is Regan wearing a beanie? Is it cold? 22 degrees. Yeah, it's cold here in the UK. Yeah, what is it? Is it probably all right? Yeah, for you down in south of France, there, buddy. Yeah. So, looking a bit stuttery a bit. I hope that's not too bad. Yeah, not the. Excuse me. Pardon me there. Let's break the ice a little bit, guys. I've got this funny video, and then we got this humorous story I found from The Guardian that we'll look at as well, guys. So I hope you guys enjoy this.
Next, people are always forgetting their ATM pin, right? Mm-hmm. Well, this business stores your pin in a cloud that can be accessed from anywhere in the world.
Okay, and have you thought about security?
Yes. Access to the cloud is protected by a secure 16-digit passcode.
I'm afraid not.
What do you press when you need someone to open a door?
A doorbell.
Exactly, yeah. But what do you press when you need someone to open a trapdoor?
I've never needed anybody to.
A floor bell.
It's that age-old question. Does the refrigerator light come on when you open the door? Or is it always on? Introducing the glass fridge.
Over time, children's dolls become tattered and damaged
but the child is reluctant to part with them. At the doll hospital, we explain to the child that their doll has died due to complications arising from a routine operation, and they won't ever be coming back.
That's ludicrous.
Next.
People are
Oh, so I'm
always
going to play that
forgetting their
again. Sorry, guys.
Routine operation, and they won't ever be coming back.
That's ludicrous.
Next.
People.
Oh, I found it a bit funny, to be fair. It is a short video, but yeah, I found that to be funny, guys. To be fair. Nice one, foil and arms there, guys. All the funny videos will be linked in the description if any of you guys want to check them out and give them a thumbs up, yeah, for you guys. This story from The Guardian, I love this story. This humoured me, guys. Rail signalling error diverts Strasbourg-bound MEPs to Disneyland. We are not a Mickey Mouse Parliament, jokes one MEP after division causes 45-minute delay. This is hilarious, guys. With a heavy workload pushing through EU laws, members of the European Parliament know a thing or two about amendments, but an unscheduled Mickey Mouse experience on their way to Strasbourg on Monday morning was something of a first. A French train carrying hundreds of MEPs and their teams from Brussels ended up by accident at the Margot-Ville, the stop for Disneyland Paris. Instead of the rolling hills that usually greets them as they head to the Ascalon city, MEPs were caught between the Art of Marvel and Main Street, USA, with Star Wars Hyperspace Mountain and Peter Pan's flight in the near distance. Emmanuel Florin, who works for the Parliament press team, wrote on X, formerly Twitter, "When magic comes to life, will Disney slogans soon be that of the European Parliament?" Oh. Passengers on the train, told that the diversion was due to an error in the route, were quick to see the funny side, prompting Disneyland to trend briefly on social media in the Belgian capital. The location of the Parliament in Strasbourg is a regular source of tension for MEPs, and there is no direct train from Brussels, forcing travellers to change either in Paris or at the station near the Disneyland complex. Every month the Parliament charters 2 trains from a plenary session in Strasbourg to avoid a large convoy of vehicles on the 300-mile stretch between the 2 cities, but even political power brokers cannot make the magic happen. The trains still have to travel through the Palestine area before turning left on the historic city on the border with Germany. One passenger on board said they didn't even notice they were in Mickey Mouse Land. There was no announcement about a specific location and most didn't identify it, but others found the experience entertaining, though perhaps in the traditional Disneyland sense. Team Disneyland, wrote the Dutch MEP Sabina Raffa, posing for a photograph with another MEP on the train's buffer car. Oh, God. Eddie Wax there. Who got on the EU Parliament train that actually got sent to Disneyland? Get in touch. Alluding to criticism levelled of the so-called travelling circus, the ferry MEP to Strasbourg Parliament, Daniel Fawn, MEP, joked, "We are not a Mickey Mouse Parliament." SNCF Network said the cause was a signalling error at the Rossing Charlesburg Gulugar's TVV station. They apologised for the inconvenience, noting that the division only caused a 45-minute delay. Passengers arrived at destination at 12:50 PM, it said. I just thought this was hilarious, guys. When I just not a Mickey Mouse Parliament. I saw this, I couldn't help myself, guys. It was just hilarious. I hope you enjoyed that little Disneyland story. Let's go back to the real stuff, guys. Unfortunately, we got to go back to the UK, guys. I'm sorry, we have to go back to the United Kingdom. This one is also from The Guardian. By-election spending suggests tactic Labour and Lib Dems deal on fighting Tory-held seat. Ooh, what's this? Working together again? I thought they weren't going to work together. Figures released before the Tamworth and Mid-Bedfordshire contestants hint at opposition parties making space for each other. Ooh. Labour and the Liberal Democrats appear to have made space for each other in by-elections held in Conservative seats, spending figures acquired by The Guardian shows. Figure also shows Labour lost the Uxbridge and South Rice by-election despite outspending the Conservatives by more than £21,000 in the campaign. So they spent £21,000 more and lost it based on a tiny little policy on you lads, guys. I know, sucks. The release of the figure comes before 2 by-elections later this week in Tamsworth and in mid-Bedfordshire. The Bedfordshire by-election is likely to mark an end to an apparent tactic agreement between Labour and the Liberal Democrats for one party to the heaviest contested Conservative-held seat, with both opposition parties claiming that Doris's former constituency is theirs for the taking. In June, Ed Davis, leader of the Liberal Democrats, ruled out tactical voting pact with Labour ahead of a by-election in Uxbridge and mid-Bedfordshire. He said, "There'll be no pacts, no deals. We'll be fighting beyond by-elections. Voters will make their decision." Sure. They'll decide which party is the best to beat the Conservatives. We'll put our case to both constituencies. But the spending figures for Uxbridge and South Ryde suggest the case was not as strongly made to potential Liberal Democrat voters in Boris Johnson's former constituency as those in Somerton and Frompt, where another by-election was held on the same day, July the 20th. So if you can see here, this is the source from Electoral Reform Officers, the Guardian graphic here. So this is spending on July 2023 by-election. So at the top there, you've got Salisbury and Amesbury. Spending, obviously, between Labour and the Conservatives, they're absolutely humongous there, and Lib Dems spending hardly anything. Obviously, Labour victory with 20. Labour won that one, obviously, there. And then if you go down, then the Uxbridge and South Ruislip, again, you can see there Labour spending more than the Conservatives, as they said. Obviously, 21,000, and the Conservatives just barely won. Cheap by a land, but just cheekily won it. But you can see the spending on the Lib Dems on both of those, both the Salisbury and Uxbridge, barely anything. But if you look at Somerton and Frompt, Lib Dems spent more than the Conservatives, and the Lib Dems won it by a massive margin. But again, Labour have not spent hardly anything on it. So, yeah, this does paint a very obvious picture here, doesn't it, in terms of spending amounts. Just saying. In Uxbridge, Labour spent £96,785.74, coming close to the spending limit of £100,000. Danny Beatles, the party's candidate, narrowly came second with 13,470 votes to the Conservatives' 13,965, securing the seat for Steve Tuckwell. The Tories spent £75,000, £267.65, 21,000 less than Labour. Meanwhile, the Lib Dems spent £6,021.15 on their candidates, who came in fifth with less than 5% of the vote, forfeiting a £500 deposit. Oh dear, £500. But in Somerton and Frompt, the spending was almost reserved. The Liberal Democrats spent £94,430.11, beating the Conservatives, who spent £90,389.01. Labour, who came fifth behind the Greens, and the Reform Party lost its deposit and spent only £7,000, £486.90. I hope the Greens didn't lose their deposit. Don't mind the Reform losing it. A Liberal Democrat source said, "One of the realities of first past the post is it intensifies every party to concentrate its resources on the seats that they have the best chance of winning. You'll see a huge variation between seats which are right up to the limit and as close as one can respectfully get to spending almost nothing. The expenditure returns total gives you the real insight into what a party through its chances were in the seat." They added, "I think you will see a different pattern in spending in the mid-Bedfordshire by-election. I think Labour are wasting their money, as you expect me to say, but Labour have been putting more effort than in some than other previous contests in this parliament." A Labour spokesperson said that the party was investing in our campaign and spending to the legal limit. A third by-election was held on the same day in Salisbury and Anglesey in North Yorkshire, where Labour spent a similar amount as in Uxbridge, but with greater success for its candidate Keith Marter. The Conservatives, who spent £87,000, were again outspent by Labour's £93,000. The Liberal Democrats, who came in sixth and lost their deposit, spent only £7,000. In mid-Bedfordshire, tensions between Labour and the Lib Democrats were both fiercely contesting the seat, has bubbled over into accusations of falsely claims and dirty tricks. One Conservative source described the by-election as a phony war and said, "On the surface they're tearing chunks out of each other, but behind the scenes the Liberals have stopped targeting the Labour voters." Tactical voting there. In a nutshell, yeah, really. But at the end of the day, we do have issues with Labour, and rightly so, guys, but let's get rid of the party first. Let's get rid of the Conservative Party. Try that to yawn. I always, for some reason, yawn when I'm sitting on this seat. I don't know what it is. I slept well last night, in case you wonder. I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah, we need to get rid of the Conservative Party. We need to get rid of them. We need to get them out of government. They've been in party power for 13 years, and yeah, we've just had enough. And tactical voting is going to be vital, and obviously we want to do everything I can to give. I mean, I would rather have a hung parliament or a Labour and Lib Dems working together, but I mean, a lot of polling suggesting a Labour majority, but there's also that what will tend to happen, obviously, and it's been said numerous times, is that the gap will tighten as we get closer to a general election. And obviously, we don't know exactly when. We're predicting around the autumn time, perhaps even spring. Or maybe he'll just hold out all the way till 2025. Who knows? But the ball is in Rishi Sunak's court at the end of the day when it comes to the general election. So, what are you guys saying in the chat? All them bears, he looks like cousins of mine. Replying to Duke that is horrible. There, here. What was Duke saying earlier? It is true though. The councils won't do anything until the worst happens. Yeah, it's true on that. Yeah. One must be sane to think clearly, but one must think deeply and be quite insane. Nikola Tesla, says Duke. Is it worth voting Lib Dems instead of Labour? Only if it means getting rid of the Conservative Party. It depends. You have to. There's websites and that look at the that can tell you if voting Lib Dem is worth if it's worth voting Lib Dem over Labour in a certain seat. So because we have a first past the post system, which is ridiculous. Only to take a Tory seat, Joe, says Leeds. Yeah, as Leeds rightly put there. Do not know much about them when they are rarely even mentioned here. Yeah. 2024 El De Niro, I hope they'll make it all vote green, says Simon says 55. Yeah, I'm going to be voting green in my area because it's a strong Labour hold anyway, so I don't expect it to switch hands anyway, but that's where my vote's going to go anyway, to be fair. Guys, we've got some broken news to share with you guys.
Welcome to Broken News. Tributes have been paid to Context, which has passed away at the age of 70,000.
Good God Almighty.
For years, people relied on Context when discussing controversial issues, but will no longer be able to, because it's dead. Our reporter has more.
In recent years, Context had been under attack from all sides. Tabloid newspapers, social justice warriors, and your mate from high school who believes Disney created the movie Frozen to change Google's search algorithm so that when people looked up Disney Frozen, they'd get stuff about the movie and not about Walt Disney himself being cryogenically frozen. Some try to defend Context by thinking about complex issues for at least 30 seconds before saying anything.
No.
But they were drowned out by a tidal wave of loud, thick idiots who desperately wanted people to pay attention to them. In a statement released earlier, a group known as the Context Usage National Termination Society said, "Yeah, it's a bummer for some people, but we're glad Context is dead. We are no longer slaves to context, and now we can have really ill-informed, simplistic views on incredibly complicated issues like Israel-Palestine, Brexit, and trans rights. R.I.P. Context." Well, Broken News has learned that since that statement was made, the group has been cancelled for using the words bummer and slaves. Back to you.
Well, we would like to say sorry for the strong language heard towards the end of that report, particularly the use of the words bummer and slaves. Broken News would like to apologise unreservedly, and we assure viewers that our reporter's contract has been terminated with immediate effect. What a lovely story. That's all from Broken News. You're up to date.
Well, broken News would like to apologise unreservedly for our presenter using the words bummer and slaves in that bulletin. And Broken News would like to assure viewers that their contract has been terminated with immediate effect.
Oh, was it too quiet? I hope it wasn't too quiet. Oh, I hope not. Well, at least I left the subtitles on. At least I hope it wasn't too quiet. I do apologise if it was too quiet. It's because I have to have the microphone closer to me. Hello, Tories Don't Get Tasered. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a nice weekend, buddy. Tom, good to see you there as well. I hope you had a good weekend as well. Hugh, good to see you, buddy, as well. Yeah, it is cold tonight. Yeah, I hope you had a nice weekend as well. Good to see you guys. Hope you're all doing well. Let's let's dive right into the next story, shall we, guys? Let me make sure I've got the right one. If you guys are here as well, it would be greatly appreciated if you hit the like button for me and share this across social media. It does help the algorithm for me, guys. So this one's from The Independent, guys. Former Boris Johnson advisor jumps ship to help boost Labour's business plans. So Ian Anderson quit the Tories after 39 years of membership and switched to Labour, claiming the Conservative Party was not the party it used to be. 39 years this man gave. 39 years of loyalty to the Conservative Party, and now he switched to Labour. Wow. Whew. A former Boris advisor to Boris Johnson. He was a former advisor to Boris Johnson. God help us all. Has jumped ship to help boost Labour's plans for engagement with businesses if it wins the next election in the latest major coup for the party. Ian Anderson, who quit the Conservative Party in February in protest at the party's alleged F-business attitude. Yeah, that comment really didn't go down well. Has been tasked with helping the party give small businesses a stronger voice in a Labour government. Mr. Anderson, who found the communications giant H/Advisors Citro, was Mr. Johnson's LGBT business champion. But he quit the Tories after 39 years of membership, claiming the Conservative Party was not the party it used to be. In an interview with the Financial Times on Monday, Mr. Anderson said small firms feel like they do not have a voice. This is about everybody getting an ability to make a pitch, he said. Mr. Anderson revealed he had been asked by Labour to draw up a report in the coming months on how it can deliver a promise to help build greater ties with corporate Britain. Speaking to business leaders at Labour's conference in Liverpool, leader Sir Keir Starmer says, if we do come into government, you will be coming into government with us. In his interview with the Financial Times, Mr. Anderson launched a stinging attack on Mr. Sunak and previous Tory Prime Ministers, saying firms were tired of the on-off relationship with the government. Well, the latest one, obviously, was the reversing of high-speed rail 2, and there's still the continuous uncertainty about import checks coming in with regards to the TCA. And these uncertainties are giving businesses an absolute headache, and it also, the other problem as well is that why would businesses want to invest in the UK when they don't even know where our position is? You know, we're constantly sitting on the fence, constantly kicking the can down the road per se when it comes to these major issues, because it's almost like the government is just dragging their feet and leaving it all for Labour to pick up. I mean, if you're not going to govern, just give them the goddamn keys already and stop wasting everyone's time. Rant over. He cited synthetic photo opportunities, slamming ministers who called asking if you have a factory, an office or a production line to visit. There's a picture and then there's a Cavalcade returns to Whitehall, he told the Financial Times. As well as lashing out at the Conservatives' relations with business, he warned the party against fighting the election in so-called culture wars issue as a gender identity. Yeah, this whole culture wars thing, that's not what people are concerned about. if people, there are a great deal of people who are struggling to make ends meet right now, who want to know, how they're going to be able to make it to the next day. People want to know how they're going to be able to get their doctor's appointment. People want to know, why their victim, why their criminal, why their perpetrator has not been brought to justice. People want to know why their kids can't take why they can't take their children to a school that's supposed to be a standard school because of RAEC concrete, that's crumbling it and causing it completely unhealthy and unsafe. All these things all these issues, these major issues, I'm sure you guys can list 100 more issues, and culture war is what they want to go on? No. People are fed up and people are angry and people want a government that's going to actually do something for them instead of just talking all the goddamn time. Shall I rant more? Mr. Anderson said a culture war is not good for this country. I'm just very sad to see it happen. He's backing at the latest coup for Labour, which has seen business leaders flock to build relationships with Sir Keir and Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves as his party enjoys a sizable lead in the polls. Earlier this year, CBI President Paul Trescott said Labour was winning the economic argument against Tories under Sir Keir. And high-profile donors from new Labour areas such as Lord Salisbury have returned to the fold, donating millions of pounds to the party since Jeremy Corbyn was replaced as leader. As well as figures from the financial industry, Labour recently unveiled emanating barrister Marina Wheeler-Casey, Boris Johnson's former wife, as Labour's new whistleblower tar to advise on reforms. And in a sign of discontent among businesses as the Tories approach to industry, billionaire donor John Corwell said last month that there was no chance whatsoever he would back Mr. Sunak. The Phones for You founder was the party's biggest backer in the run-up to the 2019 election, but threatened to switch to Labour over the madness of Mr. Sunak's U-turn on net zero measures to mitigate against the climate crisis. Promising to turn around firms' on-off relationship with the government under Labour, Mr. Anderson said, "In the future, the relationship will always be on." That's the thing is that people will, if businesses will invest in Labour because they believe that they will believe that Labour will not be doing these U-turns. I don't believe they're going to be doing as many U-turns now as they will be when they're in government. They may have to change things, but they won't be. I know there's been a criticism of Labour of the current U-turns, but let's be fair, guys. Like, they're not in power. Yes, there are questions to be asked, as we always can say. But the Conservative Party absolutely effing shambolic, shall we say, guys? I know, pretty embarrassing. Just want to make sure. Okay, so I'm got one I'm gonna bring up, which is outside the UK. We'll look at in just a moment, guys. I think I've got right on time at the moment. Let me have a look. What are you guys saying in the chat? Hello to everyone. 91 Lee says, I don't think that should be allowed. I wouldn't let him in. The Labour Party should reinstate quite strongly with his politics. Sakio was a statesman and lawyer backed in the Roman Empire days. I think he was assassinated, says Jake. Okay. And he was a Nero Tudor and he had to commit suicide. He was also in shock. Oh, God. Sakio died before Nero's time. Lefty Bio says, people are starving, can't afford energy bills, and the government is more concerned about where I... Yeah, it'd be laughable if it wasn't so dangerous. Yeah, I know, Lefty. It's nonsense is what it is. It's absolute nonsense, this whole cultural nonsense. Yeah, I'm not going to read that. That's a bit much. Amen to that. He's hiring Boris' ex-wife too. Yeah, I know. An ex-wife of Boris Johnson. I know, shocking. Yeah, just yeah, pretty crazy. So, guys, I really should have put the link here for the video in the chat. I probably will do that after. So I was watching a video today from you guys may have heard the YouTube channel called Real Life Law. I think it's called Real Law. He's got like more than 10 million viewers or something, whatever, his YouTube channel. And I was watching a video about how Taiwan will protect itself from China and the methods that they have. And I thought I will put the link in the description after I've done the live, or either tonight or tomorrow. I'll do the link for it. But it was a fascinating and really got me thinking about. And then I saw this article and I thought, you know what, I wanted to cover something over there. because there are predictions that by 2025 or 2027 China will invade Taiwan. That some of the experts are predicting. So within the next few years we could have that war potentially. It's because China still considers Taiwan part of them, but Taiwan is still considered the rightful Chinese party, and it considers all of China to be theirs still, if you know a bit of the history. But this article from Reuters itself is fearing China, South Korea targets firms building Taiwan Navy submarines. So this is South Korea basically panicking here because they don't want to upset China. And I don't blame. The thing is, I don't know what they're afraid of, because they have America's on their side over there. But let's read into this bit, guys. So South Korean authorities cited the risk. Oh, I was moving the risk cursor there. South Korean authorities cited the risk of Chinese economic relations when they changed maritime technology firm IS Inig last year, with violating trade laws for its work on Taiwan's new military submarine program, according to a police document seen by Reuters and two people familiar with the matter. So basically, they were working with Taiwan, and they decided they didn't want businesses with Taiwan because they might upset the Chinese. You know what's the funny thing as well? Because Taiwan has the most powerful semiconductor chips in the world, did you know they actually ship them to China? It's true. They actually produce semiconductor chips, and they actually go to China, which is a very odd thing. I thought that was quite fascinating, to say the least, as well, in the video that I watched. In the February 17th, 2022, affiliate to a judge seeking the arrest of SI Initiative Director Park Mi-sing, police said authorities feared a repeat of the sweeping sanctions imposed by Beijing in 2016 after Seoul decided to install a US anti-missile system. China agreed to lift those measures in late 2017. The affiliate said SI Initiative deal to supply Taiwan with submarine manufacturing equipment directly impacts the overall security of South Korea, and police who had consulted with the company's arms sales regulator were concerned about a crisis similar to that of past developments, such as economic relations. The Defense Acquisition Program Administration, the DAPA regulator, told an unidentified subcontractor that government had export concerns regarding Taiwan and takes a very cautious stance on such approvals, they said. The judge ordered Park's arrest on February 20th on the grounds that he posed a flight risk and might destroy evidence, according to a person familiar with the matter. So if you have a business or associations over there in Asia, like, you really got to tread carefully what you're doing there, especially with the tensions between those two countries. In the sealed affiliate reviews by Reuters, police cited China's furious reaction to a 2021 Reuters report about defenders, subcontractors and experts from South Korea and 6 other countries working on Taiwan's submarine program. SI Initiative, which was fined in August 2020, and Park, who received a suspended prison sentence, deny wrongdoing and have appealed, though a company lawyer, Park, declined to comment. In a sign of a broader crackdown, 2 other South Korean companies that allegedly supplied Taiwan were also charged in November with breaking trade laws, and one of their chief executives was accused of industrial espionage, according to the court records, and 4 people familiar with the matter. Maybe they shouldn't work with Taiwan. Just putting it out there. The identities of defense engineering subcontractors Chemical Naval Technology, the KHNT, and S2AK, and the charges facing the co-defendants of their closed-door trials have not been previously reported. Reuters could not determine if geopolitical tensions were discussed in his ongoing proceedings. I would have been for sure. A KHNT official, speaking on the conditions of an autonomy because he was not authorised to talk to the media, confirmed an ongoing criminal case. The company declined further comment. S2NAK had no comment. Amid rising military tensions with China, Taiwan unveiled its first homegrown submarine on September the 28th in the southern port of Karasuk. The vessel will soon enter sea trials. The SI Initiative affiliate and interviews with 7 people with military, shipbuilding and legal ties shows how political considerations with an economic rupture with China, Seoul's largest trading partner, have weighed on South Korea's investigations into the 3 companies. The people spoke on condition of autonomy to discuss ongoing legal proceedings and with national security implications. Seoul's foreign ministry was completely against the KHNT's work with Taiwan and signalled its disapproval to DAPA, according to a person familiar with the subcontractor. The affiliate said many firms with submarine expertise avoided helping Taiwan because it did not expect government approval, given the risk of the bigger damage to the economic benefits, including the possible ban on South Korean exports. Yeah, you don't want to upset your neighbours. The thing is that China has one of the biggest economies in the world, and you don't want to do anything to upset them. And since you've already shook the apple cart already once, you don't really want to shake it twice, to be fair, for them. Police declined to comment, citing national security concerns. The prosecutor's office that charged the three subcontractors declined to comment on ongoing legal procedures. Rhetoric's attempts to reach the then President Liu Yang through an office of the former aide. The office referred questions to the Foreign Ministry. The Foreign Ministry said it was aware the trials were underway and referred detailed questions to DAPA. DAPA said the follows the law when decisions on exports, but had no further comment. Do they have it in law that says you can't trade with Taiwan? Because if you don't have it in law, it would make sense, to kind of cover your own backside. It would make things a lot more obvious to Korean businesses there. Just putting that out there, it might be worth for them to do that, so to avoid this unnecessary tension. A police investigator spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss ongoing legal matters, said that there was no pressure from Moon's Liberal government, which left office in May 2022, to get on SI's initiative. Rhetorics could not determine whether Beijing pressured Seoul to clamp down on the companies. Wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised. Asked by Rhetorics for comment, a Chinese foreign ministry spokesperson accused Taiwan's ruling Democratic Progressive Party of colluding with external forces. Spokesperson did not address a question on whether Beijing pressed Seoul about the subcontractors. No, why would you want to tell that? Beijing told Rhetorics in 2021 that countries involved in Taiwan's project were playing with fire. Taiwan's foreign and defense ministries had no comment. Seoul had no formal diplomatic ties with TAPI and avoided arming the democratic ruling islands, with over which China claims sovereignty, and even its companies inked weapon deals with other Asian neighbours. Do we want to keep reading? Probably not. It's pretty like, the thing is that if they made it like some kind of law and just said to businesses, look, just don't trade with Taiwan, like, we've already had enough trouble with Beijing, just don't trade with them, or like put some kind of law in or something. I guess maybe they don't want to make it too obvious that they don't want to trade with Taiwan. I guess that's kind of my thought process on it. But the fact that they already had got a slap on the wrist already from Beijing, kind of just says they don't want to make. I guess they don't want to make it official into law, but kind of just but at the same time, it's well, if you don't make it official, it's kind of but you're kind of giving businesses an open. Unless you tell businesses flat out, do not trade with Taiwan, then you kind of. I hate to say it, the South Korean government kind of asked for this, didn't they, really, if I'm honest. Korea does a lot of business with China, they need them. Well, they're literally across the sea, aren't they? I mean, China, as I said, China's one of the biggest, the biggest economy one of the biggest economies on the planet. They trade with them, they trade with Japan, I'm sure, I don't know if they do trade with Russia, South Korea, but I'm assuming they don't. I mean, you trade with your close relationship partners, hence why we should be trading with Europe, Brexit, and all that nonsense. But for them, it's important. It's important that they have a certain a decent relationships of sorts. I mean, obviously, the whole tension between South and North Korea is not going away anytime soon either, to be fair. So there's that as well. But hi, Jeannie, good to see you there. Sorry, I didn't see you there. I'm going half asleep there, but. Interesting one to say the least, that is for sure. So I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to cover this one in the live stream, but I'm probably going to do a video of it later in the week, this one. I did have one more video, but I'm gonna leave it for now, guys, because we're just coming up to the hour mark. So just I'm actually just wanted to ask you guys, because I know some of you guys really do go out of your way before I wrap up the stream. I just wanted to I might do a poll either tomorrow on the channel or Wednesday. Kind of want to just kind of ask you guys about some of the scheduling of the videos, because I've been thinking about this for a while now, and I'm not sure if the news rounds on the weekends are kind of worth doing, and I'm actually thinking of maybe actually doing them during the week instead, and perhaps dropping them on one day during the week. And instead of doing 3 main videos a day, I'm thinking of actually dropping it to permanently to 2 videos a day, but also doing 2 videos on a Saturday and Sunday instead, so that there's content dropping every single day. But the idea would be that I would do the content on Thursday or Friday, and then have it pre-recorded for you guys over the weekend. So there would be content dropping, but I wouldn't actually be working on it necessarily, guys. So yeah, when I do drop that poll, if whether it'll probably be tomorrow, I'll drop the poll on some of these ideas. Let me know what you guys honestly think about that, because like I looked at the numbers for those news rounds I've done, and they've really not pushed numbers. I'm actually kind of getting to a point now where I'm thinking, are the news rounds even worth doing? Because they're not getting as, like, some of my other videos are actually getting more viewer numbers than them, which is kind of questioning whether I should even do them, if I'm honest, guys. I need them to be like, they put a lot of time and effort into those. Like, it's an hour long. They're an hour long, and I'm not sure whether they're justified. I mean, I do plan on doing at the moment for this week. I plan on doing everything as normal this week, and then news rounds for the weekend. But next week I'm not sure. So it's some food for thought anyway. I'm still going to be dropping free Patreon exclusive content on Wednesday and Friday still, as well as Speaking My Mind episode, which is dropping every Friday at 3 o'clock for you guys as well. So let me know what you guys think when I do drop the community post, because I do want some feedback on that. So before we hear from Colin in Portsmouth, because they did ring in today, guys, just want to say massive thank you to everyone who did come along, even if it was late. It's all right, it's all good. I do appreciate everybody taking the time to come along every Monday 9 o'clock with us. I really do appreciate it. As I said, I will do timestamps for all this either tonight or tomorrow. It's for the live stream, so it's easier if you guys want to watch it back in your own time. You can do that as well. Thank you guys so much for all the likes, shares, and all that. I still can't believe, like, I've got over 333 subscribers. It's absolutely insane when I only started this in March. But we've still got a lot of work to go. Obviously, I'll catch you guys either tomorrow on Max's live stream in the chat there. Hopefully, he won't have any problems. Cross fingers. If not, then hopefully myself and Lee Corn will be back with another Snowflake show this Wednesday for you guys as well. So yeah, I will be dropping a post, maybe a post tomorrow on that, guys. But let me know what you guys think. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the content today. I hope you guys have a nice week here, whatever you guys are planning, whether it's working, whether it's relaxing, whatever it is. Take care and look after yourselves as always. Thanks so much for coming along. And we are going to end this with this crazy nutter from Portsmouth. Also, guys, if you want to come and hang out on the Discord, I will be in the after chat. So if you guys want to come and hang out with me there, you're more than welcome to do so as well. But here is the man from Portsmouth. Hopefully it'll be loud enough for you guys this time around.
Colin from Portsmouth is on the line. Hello, Colin.
Why is this government making me worse off? When I voted people to be poorer, I didn't realise it would happen to me.
Well, that's the difficulty, Colin. Be careful of breaking wind in a lift, because it might get stuck between floors.
Yes, we all know about the Dalai Lama. Well, look, this government has betrayed me. I elected them to stop woke lefties and immigrants having heating and petrol, and I can't help but think it's backfired on me me if I
You should be having the time of your life, Colin. A freezing house, a bath every week, drawing pictures with your finger on the frosted window panes. It's the 70s all over again. You're living the dream.
You'd love that, wouldn't you? You would love that if I was forced to live through things I claim the youth of today couldn't handle. You'd love that, wouldn't you? Listen, I enjoy reminiscing about things that didn't happen to me as much as the next
Well,
man.
yes, you do. I'll vouch for that.
To personally affect you as well as the people it was designed to affect, that's where I draw the line. I will not be collateral damage as a direct result of my own actions.
Well, what are you going to do then, Colin? Are you going to vote them out?
And you bet I'm voting them out. Yeah, this
Right.
shower has got to go.
Wow.
From now on, I'm voting for Liz Truss as PM.
Right, Liz Truss. Very much the same government as is already in then, Colin.
No, not having that. Do me a favour, right? She's nothing to do with this.
Right.
And I'm not voting Labour either.
No.
Do you have any idea the muck we'd be in if Corbyn were in
Of
charge?
course, yes.
I'd like my bids collected on time, thank you very much. Anyway, mate, thanks for having me on. Love to the family.
Yeah, love to the family, Colin. Love to the family. Colin.
Oh, no extra one at the end there. Take care, everyone, and have a good night.